Joy, a feeling of great pleasure, of profound happiness. Joy. It's this short word that feels so big and full, all-encompassing. But sometimes joy honestly feels as if it requires so much energy. And right now, that energy is just not something I have to give. Like so many people experiencing isolation, separation from family, and suffering more immediate threats like job loss and illness, that depth of joy can feel out of reach. It might even seem too demanding for some of us right now. But I've learned through my faith that God doesn't ask me to do it alone. God isn't asking me to find great joy of my own making. So like I've done so many times before, when this full expression of big joy just seems beyond my reach, God reminded me instead to start small. And so I began again a practice of gratitude. Joy in all its fullness seemed too big for me right now. But I could find each day so many small things to be grateful for. I decided to share this practice with my junior high students. As we discovered that we'd be again moving to online learning, I thought that this simple practice of gratitude might help them to cope. And so I prepared to tell them of it. But gratitude in French, the language in which I teach, its translation is reconnaissance. I wrote this word, reconnaissance, down on my Post-it to remind me of my lesson, and I couldn't believe what I saw there. Now, first of all, the root of this word, reconnaître, is reconnaissance. The root is reconnaître, which means to recognize. Now, to recognize obviously seems fitting or a logical start of gratitude. To be grateful, we must first recognize. Or as Stephen told us at the start of Advent, we must have our eyes open. It's a simple reminder. Look up, look out. There is goodness to be seen. But what really hit home when I wrote down that word and I saw it there was something that I had never noticed before. It was the second part. The second part of the word reconnaissance is the word naissance. Naissance means birth. To recognize, birth. The word for gratitude, reconnaissance, as I had never seen it before, to recognize birth. In this daily practice of gratitude, of recognizing, God opened my eyes to the full and true joy of this season. This Christmas, I realized He is not asking me to create magic for my family or to somehow build this massive joy on my own. God is simply asking me to look up and to recognize birth, the birth of His own Son. And when I look to that, no matter how heavy my heart or how burdened I may feel with obligations or anxiety, that birth can fill me with such true joy. And I pray for all of us this season that we may experience that we may be able to recognize the birth of God's own Son, Jesus. That we may allow God to fill us so simply with His profound joy.